And we're back. How are you guys? I'm well, in case you were wondering. Perspective Monday. So we're coming at you today to talk about mental toughness. What is it to you? How do you get it? How does it happen? And how do you just get strong mentally? I'm gonna take you back to freshman year of when I was, just starting out my wrestling career. If you take a freshman in high school and you tell them that they have to maintain a specific weight for 4 or 5 months out of the year, I think that's a pretty challenging point in time for somebody that young. Now, I always had like this workout mentality. I was always an athlete when I was growing up, but I never knew how to really control myself in a sense of diet and weight, the number that was on the scale. And I think the start of my mental toughness was figuring out my own body, maintaining a diet that is, at that point, most important. And, mental toughness came to really show on me when it was a Tuesday and I usually had matches on a Wednesday, and I was probably sucking probably about 1 or 2 pounds. I was pretty close to my weight. I probably couldn't eat lunch with, when we had a lunch period. Sometimes I would walk around outside, on recess, and for somebody that young, man, that's digging deep. That's gaining mental toughness, just to avoid the situation of food and really holding yourself true to what you have to do and those goals that have to be reached. Bringing me into my next topic, any kind of situation where you're comfortable and challenging that mentally. Mental toughness can come through just trying to get out of a comfort zone. I think that is very important as well. When you're trying to come out of a comfort zone, you're challenging yourself mentally, which is making you tougher. Let's talk about having to work, 40 hours a week. Mental toughness, right? You clock in, you clock out. So coming out of your comfort zone to working a full-time job is tough, because that time, those 40 hours aren't yours anymore. And gaining that mental toughness of saying, you know what? I gotta do this and I have to do it. That's it. I have to go there, I have to put in the time, and I have to give it up. That's sacrifice. So mental toughness definitely comes from the sacrifice of something that you love or you need or you want. Another challenging point in my time was putting myself through a bodybuilding prep to step on stage. Now, my mental toughness came from not eating a specific thing, anything out of my diet. And I did it successfully. You could ask my girlfriend, you could ask anybody that was around me. I was prepping and I was eating everything that was in my diet. I didn't go out of my diet once. And, that mental toughness just came from, I'd say, the wrestling career, and just really telling your body that you need a specific thing at a specific point in time. And by creating that routine of staying mentally strong, creates that mental toughness that you need for life and sacrifices to come in life. I mean, sure, I could have eaten a cookie, 10 weeks out of my show, and it probably wouldn't have affected me as much as I thought it would. But putting that in my mind, that cookie was gonna ruin how I looked 10 weeks later, that's the key. So anything that is literally a goal of yours that you wanna succeed at and that you wanna crush, think of that negative thing going to kill that goal. For instance, sitting on a Stairmaster for 45 minutes at a time is not easy, right? But if you put it in that mental standpoint where that 45 minutes is burning that fat, the paper towel method, right? Where that 45 minutes is shedding one layer of that paper towel. Just think of those little things to keep pushing your mental, state faster and keep pushing it harder and just keep challenging. That's the thing. When you keep challenging yourself to do more, your mental capability will adapt. Physically, you're gonna adapt either way. Yeah, sure, to feel like you're dying, 40 minutes in to whatever you're doing. Physically, you're gonna feel like you're dying. But mentally, it's just your body going through pain, and you have to really think about what it's actually doing. If you don't feel a certain way doing a task, working, moving forward in life, studying. If it's anything and you're not feeling a gain from it, it's not what you need. It's not what your soul craves. Use your perspective in a sense where you can keep challenging your mind. What is a vice? Do you guys know what a vice is? I'm sure you know what a vice grip is. It's almost the same thing, but not really. So a vice grip is something that you put an item in and you crank a handle and it tightens and it holds an item in place, like locked in. So a vice in a human form would be anything that you need every day that probably isn't good for you, but it is needed physically and mentally. It's a vice. Nowadays, vices could be food, vices could be cigarettes, drinking, partying, dancing, like anything could be a vice that you need to do every day to get your fix, in a sense. Working out could be a vice. So when you have a vice, you really gotta think about it in a sense that it's a rubber band, okay? A rubber band, the more you stretch it, the more it's gonna be loose, right? It's gonna be easier to maintain and stretch. And eventually, when you stretch it enough, longer and longer, it's gonna snap. So when you think of mental toughness, right? Think of it as a rubber band, okay? You have a vice, you have a craving, you have a need to do something, just push it a little bit at a time. The more you push it, the more you really stretch it out, the more that mental toughness is gonna come in. Essentially, the goal is to say, I don't need it, or I don't want it. I'm better than that. I'm better than it. I don't need it in my life anymore. On a positive note, say you need to study, okay? You need to study for a test next Friday. Study 45 minutes today, then study 50 minutes the next day, then study an hour the next day, an hour and 10 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes. Keep going in that pattern. Stretch, 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 and eventually you can study for as long as you want. If that's an issue, if school is the issue, I know school is the issue for me, but in a sense of mental toughness, you have to push yourself and push yourself and push yourself until you can say you can do it. You could literally do anything you put your mind to. As soon as you have an idea in your head that you want to do something, you already have what it takes. Because in your mind, it's achievable. So why not act on it? Why not push your mind even further? That's how things get done, and that's how you reach your goals. Mental toughness comes when you stretch that vice and you stretch the cravings and you just push yourself to doing what you want. And guys, I'm telling you right now, anything you ever try in your life, physically, you can do it. If it's in your mind and you have it and it's there, act on it as soon as possible, because those ideas can flourish into something so beautiful you guys have no idea about. That comes with mental toughness. So the next time you gotta study for a test, a little bit at a time. The next time you get a craving, say you binge at night, say you eat something at night every time, just push that craving a little longer and a little longer at a time, and I promise you the mental toughness will come in to a point where you're just gonna be like, I don't need it, I don't want it, I'm better than that. Say you go for a party every weekend, and that's definitely and you know it's holding you up and it's setting you back for what you need to get done. Try and skip it. Say you'll go tomorrow night. Maybe still go out, don't drink. Don't do that drug you keep doing. Just push it a little bit further and further, because mental toughness will come in. And that's how you build a foundation. Building foundations of anything in life is key, because then you could just build up. The sky's the limit. When I started getting into working out, I did all the fundamentals, all the little stuff to prevent injuries. Then I got into training weights, trying to push myself to what I can do safely. So the little things are your fundamental foundation, and then you could show yourself what you got. You could really build on it. Once you have a foundation set in stone, guys, mental toughness will push you the rest of the way. So the more little things you do to get rid of what you don't want, to get to where you want to go, that's how you get there. A champion isn't made by doing all the big stuff and keep doing it and doing it good. A champion is made by doing all the big stuff and the little stuff. You just don't see it. You just don't see an Olympian doing external rotations for their shoulders. You just don't see it, but it's happening. They have trainers, they have all this help. But guys, you can do it yourself. It's knowledge, mental toughness, and telling yourself, maybe I shouldn't max out today. Maybe I should do some fundamental work to help my shoulders, to help my hips pertaining to the gym. Nobody gets A's on their papers without studying, without looking at material over and over again. It just doesn't happen. Sure, some people have photographic memories and they're blessed and they can just sit in a classroom and know it all and then go to the test and ace it. But a lot of us have to do the work to get there. Setting that fundamental base a little at a time will create that mental toughness to achieve anything in life. Anything. The sky's the limit, like I said. You just gotta stretch that rubber band a little bit at a time, and eventually it'll break, and you can control your own mind. I'm telling you. No feeling is set in stone. You control your own feelings. So having the toughness, you could essentially almost change all your feelings. Just like that, guys. And honestly, when I'm feeling sad, I just change my mood. You know what? I'm happy now. I'm happy. You know what? I'm happy. I could feel sad. Let me just think about my life. No, I'm kidding. That was a joke. But yeah. Mental toughness. Serenity of perspective, guys. I hope you liked it. I want to hear your advices. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I want to hear how you build your mental toughness. Comment, share, show it to your friends. Whoever needs to hear something like this. It's here. The material is here. It's been made. Just let me know. See you in the next one.